Did you know that the Queen of Soul didn't just change music? She changed the world? Aretha Franklin wasn't just a singer. She was a symbol of strength, power, and justice. From civil rights to female empowerment, her music was more than just entertainment. It was a force of revolution. Stay with us, because in the next 80 minutes, we're diving into Aretha Franklin's incredible journey from church choir to global icon. Her gospel roots and soul power reshaped music forever. But her journey wasn't easy. Today, we'll explore her rise to fame, the personal struggles that nearly broke her, and the legacy that continues to inspire millions. Are you ready to discover how Aretha Franklin became the voice of a generation? Born on March 25, 1942, in Memphis, Tennessee, Aretha Franklin was destined for greatness. Her father, the influential Reverend C.L. Franklin, was a towering figure in the church, and her mother, a gospel singer, gave her an early foundation in music. Aretha's voice first emerged in the church at age 12, and by 14, she was already recording. But her early years weren't just about musical talent. They were about hardship and perseverance. Her mother left when Aretha was just 10, and her father's own turbulent personal life cast a shadow on her upbringing. But Aretha's natural gift for singing was undeniable. By the time she was a teenager, she was recording gospel albums and starting to turn heads in the music industry. Aretha's first big break came when she signed with Columbia Records in 1960. She was initially marketed as a jazz and blues artist, but it wasn't until she found her true voice, soul, that things began to take off. By 1967, Aretha signed with Atlantic Records, and that's when magic happened. The release of Respect turned her into a cultural phenomenon. It wasn't just a song, it became an anthem for the civil rights and women's movements. Aretha Franklin was no longer just a star, she was a voice for the voiceless. But it wasn't all easy. Aretha struggled in the beginning to find her sound, but once she did, she redefined what it meant to be a soul singer. When Aretha released I Never Loved a Man, The Way I Love You, the world took notice. The hit single catapulted her to superstardom. But it wasn't just about her vocal range or piano skills. Aretha Franklin brought raw emotion and authenticity to every song she sang. Her breakthrough came at the perfect time. America was in the midst of the civil rights movement, and Aretha's music perfectly captured the anger, pain, and hope of a generation. Songs like Chain of Fools, Think, and I Say a Little Prayer became more than just chart toppers. They became anthems of empowerment. But behind her success, there were personal challenges. Aretha faced battles with self-esteem, a string of failed marriages, and the pressure of being at the center of a cultural storm. Aretha Franklin wasn't just singing for the charts. She was singing for change. During the 1960s, she aligned herself with the civil rights movement, not only through her music, but also through her advocacy. Her song, Respect, became a rallying cry for equality and justice. But Aretha's activism wasn't just about the music. She was close with leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., and her performances at civil rights events were groundbreaking. Her songs became anthems for a generation determined to end racial injustice. Aretha used her platform to amplify voices that were often ignored, bringing much-needed attention to the cause for racial equality and women's rights. Behind the public persona of the Queen of Soul was a woman who faced deep personal challenges. Aretha's marriages were tumultuous, and she raised children on her own. Struggling with balancing fame, motherhood, and her own emotional health, she often found solace in her faith and her music. Aretha's weight fluctuated over the years, and her struggles with mental health were well documented. But no matter what she faced, she found strength through her music. Her vulnerability became a powerful tool in connecting with her fans. Despite the pressure of being a public figure and the personal struggles she faced, Aretha never stopped performing and recording, proving time and again that she was more than just a musical icon. She was a symbol of resilience. Aretha Franklin built an empire. Her net worth reached millions, thanks to her legendary albums, live performances, and savvy business ventures. But it wasn't just about money. It was about empowerment. She became a pioneer for Black women in the music industry, creating a lasting impact for future generations of artists. Aretha's achievements were many: 18 Grammy Awards, a Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She didn't just break records, she shattered barriers. Her legacy lives on in her music, her activism, and her role as a trailblazer for women and African Americans in music and beyond. Aretha Franklin's influence can still be heard in modern music today. From Beyoncé to Alicia Keys, her power, her vocal range, and her sense of self became the blueprint for female artists in the years that followed. Even songs she didn't write, like Natural Woman, remain classics in popular culture. But her influence didn't stop with just music. Her story of overcoming adversity in a male-dominated industry continues to inspire women everywhere. Aretha Franklin became an icon, not just for her voice, but for the way she lived her life with integrity, strength, and unwavering confidence. Aretha continued to perform until her health started to decline. Despite being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2017, she still made appearances, including her unforgettable performance at the 2017 Grammy Awards. She sang Natural Woman, and it was clear Aretha was still the queen of soul. When she passed away in 2018, the world mourned. Tributes poured in from artists like Stevie Wonder, Beyoncé, and Barack Obama, all of whom were deeply influenced by Aretha's music and legacy. Her impact on music, politics, and culture can never be overstated. Aretha Franklin didn't just shape a genre, she shaped history. Aretha Franklin's music continues to live on, reminding us of the power of love, freedom, and respect. Her journey wasn't just about finding fame. It was about using that fame to empower those who didn't have a voice. She showed us what it means to fight for what's right, to stay strong, and to use your platform for positive change. Aretha Franklin is forever etched into history. Her legacy continues to inspire, not just in music, but in the fight for equality and justice. If Aretha's story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content celebrating the icons who shaped the world.